let me share with you my favorite ways to spy on competitors. So, in this video, we're gonna go through newsletters, how you can check how your competitors are doing them, their website. So, for example, let's say they posted last year something for Black Friday and you wanna know what it is. Their best performing ads, whether it's Meta or Google. Let's get started with the emails. So the first thing I go to is Mild. And actually, this allows you to search their emails for 30 days in the free version. You need to pay if you want to see them all time. And this is really smart of them because of course you want to see their Black Friday and things like that. So then you have to pay. But even the free version can give you a lot of valuable insights. What I like to do is I like to go through different brands. So for example, let's say I'm selling cosmetics. I will go to my direct competitors, for example, Sephora, but I will also go to L'Oreal. I'll also go to Massimo Dutti. I also will go to Nike. So I will go to different competitors to see what they're up to just to get ideas. I don't want to be stuck in doing what my competitors are doing. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to be stuck with an empty page. So, for example, let's say I go here and the email I like is this one. Let me move myself a little bit. So, this is the email. What I will pay attention to, whether it's this competitor or not, is not only the main idea, but also how they structure the email. So, for example, I see that they really highlight 10% off, and this is kind of an just a nice touch. I think it's animated. It stopped the animation. Anyways, what I really focus on after that is that there's an offer and then there are products, and I want to see how they actually place their product. So for example, this is one way. I then go to Massimo Dutti and you will see that the products are placed in a different way. And this layout I really like. I think it's very interesting. It almost feels like I can touch those bags. And you understand that you will probably need to click on them to go to the exact bag. And it's very different from a usual product showcase like this. So, this is the reason why I like to look through different brands because it gives me more ideas and takes me outside the box. Then let's go to Nike. Nike is completely different how they're showing their products. So, for example, you have something like this, which is an animation, and it's one product that they focus on, and then there's more products and they have buttons and things like that. It's completely different layouts. Now, will I test a different layout every email? No. And the reason why I'm going to be careful with that is because if there is something that I already know that's working, so for example, if I know that, something like this is working for me, for the most important emails, I'll keep the structure and I will not try to reinvent the wheel. But on the emails where I can be more edgy, I will definitely try and test something different. So for me, let's say you have a sale, the sale is ending, and you have 3 emails that are left. The first email I'm going to send that's about the ending sale, and the last email that I'm going to send about the ending sale are going to be something that I've already tested. I already know that, let's say, this layout works. I'm going to go for that. But the second email, so one is something I know, two is where I can test it a little bit, but the final hours email is again something that I'm not going to test. So we have this layout, and let's say we really like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screenshot this layout, and I'm going to go to Canva, to my file, and I'm just going to paste it. So this is just layout. Usually this part I do, the way I structure my day is I try to do the most strategic work and the most mentally consuming work in the morning. So for example, if I need to think of campaigns, if I need to write text, if I need to run ads, I prefer to do that in the morning. And this kind of stuff is usually, something towards the end of the day, because I'm already tired. I will not be able to do something very productive, but I can definitely analyze. Also, that's fun for me. Analyze the competitors and see what they're doing. Another layout that caught my eye was from L'Oreal, and it's before and after with these 6 eyes. So we can just copy and paste. Before and after has always worked, will always work, but also again, another layout I want to pay attention to. Now, this one I really liked, so we're gonna take a picture of this one as well. And what I like to do is I usually use this Chrome extension, which is called Go Full Page, and I just download the full page. Sorry. Another thing I pay attention to is mobile, but this is something that's in a paid version for Milt, so unfortunately for this we can't. But either way, I'm gonna screenshot this and I'm gonna put it over here. And as you can see, I have 3 layout options now that I could test. So for example, my email flow could look like this is email number 1, this is more risky email number 2, and this is less risky email number 3. So I have 3 options that I'm looking at. These brands are kind of similar, even though this is a fashion brand and completely different. I like to add even more different brands. So for example, Nike or even IKEA or things like that. I'm going to go through different, well-known brands that I know that invest money in this. And I'm going to go and see what they're doing. And let's say I like this. So I'm going to copy this and paste it as well to my newsletter campaign. I couldn't wait. But anyways, so what happened one time was actually I saw on Nike, I was scrolling and I saw an email that looked very different. It's not here right now. It's, because we're only seeing last 30 emails. Let's go through last 30 days. And that's it. But there was one that looked like this. So there was one that was only text. It wasn't, there weren't any products. So that got my attention and I thought, okay, this is something I want to test out, and especially with discounts. So I usually pay a lot of attention to when the brands are launching discounts, on how are they showcasing, because these are different types of emails. So I will, look for discounts emails. I will look for product emails. I will look for brand awareness. I will look for new product launches and so on. They're all different, but I will look at them from different brands. So for example, we have a discount here with with Sephora. It's easy. A lot of them are actually with discounts. So let's say we're gonna go ahead and choose. You can see these are different, but I'm sure this one is with a timer and everything. This could be an automation. This could be, different audiences. This could be also interesting because let's say they look like they're from the same campaign, but look, one starts today, another one ends soon, and another one take 10% off. So all of them look very similar, for example, and that's maybe something you want to test. So I will look at the layout. Let me make this smaller, and I'm gonna take a picture of this, let's say, and I'm gonna place it next to my sales emails, and I'm gonna add another one that we just saw, which was this one starts today, but there was one that ends. So you can see it starts is with the blue and ends is with the red and a timer. So this also shows how important the timer is. See, the animation came back. So here it is, very similar email, but that could be something to test as well, because they're similar, but they have different purpose. So maybe, they that thought behind it is that it's a sale that starts and ends, and so that there's recognition of what's going on. And if you look at Nike as well, let's go back to where all of them are. You'll see that they kind of do a similar thing. And this could be, again, testing, but this could also be, that they want to repeat this. Something like this, whether it's a test or whether, as you can see, it's throughout, um, is best to check, if you actually subscribe to their newsletters. And even though we have Milt, I would still subscribe, because I want to know what looks like an automation and what comes as their campaign. Anyways, next thing I go to is Meta ads, and you can find them in Facebook ads library. So this is something that brands actually choose to pay money for. You will notice that, for example, with Sephora, the way their newsletters are is very different from the way their ads are. So in ads, there's a lot of UGC, there's a lot of video, there's a lot of actually beautiful, less text kind of content. And with this is like very offer heavy. And part of the reason why they're probably doing that is because this is a colder audience or cold audience, and then this one is their warm audience. And so for retargeting for their warm audience, they go, they want to show the discount, the offer, make it clear. This doesn't mean that they do it, all the brands do it like that, but there's a reason brands do it, because it works. This one is actually an interesting example as well, because it shows 10% off, which is not such a big deal, but the way it's kind of laid out, it really shows like you're getting the best purchase of your life, the best deal. Anyways, what I like to go and do is, when I'm here, you obviously choose the country, you choose all ads, you type in the brand, and you can actually save the search. So you don't always have to, search again. But what I like to do is I like to scroll down, because once you go to the bottom, you'll see ads that have been running for a long time. And usually, when an ad is running for a long time, that means that that ad is working. So, what I pay attention to is, whether it's a video or static, and you'll see that there's a lot of video ads. And then, if it's a video ad, for example, I like this one. We're gonna play it. So I usually stop, and instead of just copying, the one ad, I copy the timestamp, and I copy different parts of the ad. So for example, here, I'm gonna paste it, and after that, I'm gonna add a couple of seconds, sorry. So third second is this. And the reason why I do this is that once I create my own ad, I try to replicate how many seconds each scene have to be and how it looks like. So we have 6, again, changing every 3 seconds. And I will just add it over here. And the last one, I mean, this could be more, but I'm just not gonna waste your time. But again, small changes, that not forgetting the timestamp, that matter. So we're gonna add this. So what's good about this is that then when I actually decide to create the ads, I have the first one, which I can run as a static ad. But the more and more time goes by, actually, videos win on Meta. So we need video ads, and sometimes it's not that difficult. This is just, as you can see, this is only the text changing. There's nothing crazy, and you could see what, the text is, and so on. So I like to have those scenes when I'm actually creating. Now, to make things more fun, I have this mood board. You can just type in mood board in your design and find what you like. And this one is actually really nice because it has all these shapes that I can just copy. And for example, I can, add comments to them like this. And especially if you work with a client, it's nice for them to see, and it makes it more interesting for them, kind of more interesting for you as well. So you add the comments. The nice thing about Canva, actually this one shows different things that can help you. So for example, you can select L to generate lines. So you just press L and then change the lines. You select the lines to edit their style, or select twice to add text. So if you can add text on the line, which actually I didn't know. And so for example, forward or meta ads, whatever. So you can type that, take that and place it, for example, in front of your meta ads if you're presenting it to clients. Again, it depends on the client. But okay, this got stuck to that. So let's move it here like that. So see, meta ads. You can make it look pretty like this, My clients are usually okay with me just pasting different ideas. But again, if you, just start working with someone, then you could make it look more professional. Another thing that they write is sticky notes. So actually, just to get a sticky note, you just press letter S, and that's it. And another one I really liked is that you can, this one over here, it says magic commands. So if you use slash, the magic commands start. Just make sure that you're not pressed anything. And you can even turn on a timer, so you can see, what's the time. Just use Pomodoro or something and see what's going on. Okay, anyways, let's go and see what else we can do. Another thing I really pay attention to is Google Ads. So it depends on the client, whether or not the client needs Google Ads or just Meta. But, it's important to see what the competitors are doing. This I usually still test with, I find, let's say I'm selling this hair mask, I will notice what they're highlighting. Of course, this is a Sephora brand, so they will go ahead and highlight Sephora, a lot of shop, and stay and shop again. Maybe it works for them. So maybe I'll run an ad on Meta and say shop in the beginning just to see how that's working. Again, it's just for looking for the keywords. So for example, best selling and so on. We can also look at different brands. So we can look at, for example, Nike, and we can see what they're running. So for example, premium comfort, ideal fit. So just don't miss out, creating the FOMO feeling. These kinds of things I will write down for myself. And when I actually need to write ads or subject lines, I'll go ahead and look through what's going on. So for me, this is, ideal because these things, don't miss out and so on, they really work. So I need to focus on that. And last but not least is a very important website, which is Wayback Machine. It's from Archive. So if you just type in archive.org, you will get through to this website. And then what you need to do is you need to write, for example, Sephora and search archived websites. What this does is it lets you go back in time and see what the website was about. I usually like to add com, so here. So now I have this calendar and I can go back, to whichever year I want. And this is great for Black Friday. Now, this is free, but it's very slow. So have patience with it. So let's say we go to 2021, and then we can go to, for example, November 24th, and we can see the snapshot of the website. I've actually uploaded different websites here. So this is their current website, and you can see what they are focusing on. They kind of have the same thing going on their homepage. This is from 2023. As you can see, some images may not load, but you get still a lot of useful information. For example, your best Cyber Week ever. As you can see, new beauty insight challenges and so on. You can see what they're focusing on. A lot of it is gift oriented because, it's Christmas season, and sometimes it's the obvious, but it's still working. It's also interesting to see how they're placing things. Um, this one, for example, I'm sure it's one of their best sellers. So then people just see the bestseller and go for it. We have 2024. Again, just how their homepage looks, and they kind of change the homepage a lot, but as you can see, the main structure they keep, and that's something that if they're keeping it, there's a reason. And here it is. We have 2021, and it's very different looking, but again, they have an offer and show the different brands that, their best sellers really clear. So these are my favorite ways to spy on the competitors. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. And also, how do you spy on the competitors? Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with Black Friday deals.